Discovering Chinese dramas in 2018 opened up a whole new world of Asian dramas to me, and I've been hooked ever since. 4 years later, Tea and Soju was born, so that I can extend my love of Chinese dramas and Asian dramas in general to others out there and find a community. So, sit back and let's chat Asian dramas. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Tea and Soju C-Drama podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and in today's episode, we are going back into the guest series with another drama review. Now, I'm very excited. This is a brand new guest to Tea and Soju. And not only that, but it's a pretty good drama that we're talking about. But before we get into any of that, let me just go right ahead and let me introduce you my guest, Chika. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Chika from the Shoujo Sunday podcast. Shoujo Sunday is a podcast that reviews shoujo anime to give shoujo properties more attention than what they currently receive. Shoujo, in particular, is a demographic that's targeted towards like young girls and women. And mostly when you see different anime podcasts, they are usually all about shonen, which is catered more to boys and men. So we just wanted to kind of be that safe haven for people that do love shoujo and wanted to listen more about it and hear different perspectives. And so, yeah, so that is my podcast. And I guess essentially me too, but yeah.
Yeah, it is quite funny because when I first started, way before I got into Asian dramas, I started with anime. And
Yeah.
because I got into anime through my partner, a lot of the ones that I watched were the ones that were geared more towards guys. So,
Yeah.
classics One Piece and Bleach and those sort of big name dramas, although he has
Yeah.
watched a bunch of stuff. And then kind of like I started exploring out by myself and I was like, it's a whole new world out there. And you end up discovering all of these other ones that are very much way more geared toward women. And I was like, I like these a lot more. so
Yeah.
so, yes, before we get into the episode, I'm just going to go through my housekeeping. If you enjoy the podcast, please remember to do all of the, subscribe and rate and share. Those really do help the podcast to reach other listeners. If you'd like to further support, we have Patreon where I release a bunch of stuff over there, like first impressions, movie reviews, and there is actually a couple of things that are available for free members. So if you'd like to go and check that out, it's all on Patreon and the link is in the description notes. And then if you'd like a little community where it's pretty safe to talk Asian dramas, Discord is also available and that's completely free. And, if you want to chat to me or Chika, I will link all the socials in the notes. So please feel free to go ahead and use those. Now, before I get into the episode, we just want to know a little bit more about you. And, so the first question is, and this is one that I think is like a obligatory question for any Asian watcher, is when did you start watching Asian dramas?
Right. So I feel like I started probably in the early 2000s, if I'm being
Oh, and
honest.
you're an OG OG.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I feel like there was this was before Vicky like was
Mm.
official and stuff. So like, yeah, like,
Are you from the
but
club where you had to download dramas in like parts and things like that, and you had to
yes. 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 It was really just funny the way that things turned out. Like similar to you, like when I first got into stuff, I started off with anime. So I got into Sailor Moon and Yu Yu Hakusho, all the stuff that was on me and Adult Swim. And then eventually I was able to like sort of transition because I don't know. Actually, I really don't know how. It's like I moved from watching just strictly anime to then being
Mm,
into Japanese variety shows.
mm,
And then from there, I got into dramas
mm.
because there were like live action adaptations
Yeah.
of like manga that I was reading. So I was super into Hana Yori Dango, which
Mm,
actually Gianna and I are reviewing right now on Shoujo Sunday Patreon.
yeah.
But Hana Yori Dango, Kimi wa Petto, like stuff like that. And
Mm.
then I have a very distinct memory of moving into like K-dramas as well. Um I think either in 2004 or 2005.
Yeah.
Like, and the first thing that I saw was Jewel in the Palace and stuff. And then I was just like, oh, this is
This is great.
nice.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
I was
nice.
like, ah, this is nice. And then I think moving on from there and then being into being on Vicky and stuff, then I like watched Scarlet Heart and I was like, oh, okay.
Is that the K-drama version?
I think Scarlet Heart. No, what? Hold on a second.
Because you've got Scarlet Heart Moon Lovers, which is the Korean version, but it's
Right.
based on the Chinese one, and I think the Chinese one is also called Scarlet
Scar.
Heart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it was the Chinese. So I watched the
yeah,
Chinese one first.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
just like, oh yeah. No, the second season, I don't watch it. But
yeah. A
um,
lot of people say that, but also a lot of people say that with Scarlet Heart, the Chinese version, you kind of get a little bit more closure
you do.
than the Korean one. I have heard that. And
Yeah.
actually, I think I'm gonna. So I have not watched either of them, but
Okay.
I have been watching currently right now as we're recording because when we release this show will be well and truly over. But I'm watching a drama right now called A Journey to Love. I don't know if you've checked it out, but basically the female lead is Liu Shishi, and she is the female lead from Scarlet Heart, and I'm like, I love her in this. So this might be the thing that convinces me to go back and watch that drama.
Yes, yes. I feel like, it's a bit Scarlet Heart is a bit dated at times, but it's like I feel
Mm.
more nostalgic. So
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course I'm gonna
towards
be
it.
like, you should watch
Yeah,
it
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, so it's like that's how kind of got
Kind of get
into
into dramas.
yeah.
So let's say what are some of your favorite dramas? And it doesn't matter if they're Korean or, Chinese, whichever. Which are just in
Yeah.
general, which are just some of your favorite dramas?
Yeah, so one of my like high favorites, and I think this is actually how we really first started communicating, like you and
Mm.
I, was about eternal love. Um
Yes, yes.
because yes, because
Because
you
I
had so
started
so
watching it. Yeah.
yeah, like so you started talking about you were talking about it on Twitter
I
with
was.
these other two podcasts like that people that were your
Mm.
friends, and then I saw it and I was just like, I want to jump in because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love this drama and stuff. So yeah, so Eternal Love or 10 Miles of Peach
Peach
Blossom.
Blossoms, yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
one that people basically were harpering on about me, literally. They were saying, how can you call yourself a Shianja fan and not have watched 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms? And I was like, look, I heard you, okay? I'm gonna watch it. We're
yeah.
gonna review it on the podcast. I got it. We're gonna watch it. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that is how we first sort of started communicating. So look, it's brought more people.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one of my favorites. I guess I would also say Scarlet Heart, the Chinese version, but that's
Yeah.
because of nostalgia.
Hmm.
Hanayori Dango, from Japan, the Japan version, because I know that there are many iterations of Boys Over
Yeah, I
Flowers
was
is
gonna
the
say, is
name of
that the
it.
one? Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
Korea has Boys Over Flowers, and then China has Meteor Garden, and I don't know. I think
Hmm.
Taiwan might have an oh,
Yes.
and Thailand has
Yeah.
F4 as well. So yeah, there's been many adaptations of that
But
drama.
yes, yes. And it was like back when I was first into it, I watched all of them. I was like,
Have
okay,
you?
almost all of them.
Oh, that's
I
pretty
think
good.
not the remake though. I know that there's a new remake that's on
Mm,
Netflix
yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, so I've seen that. It started with a kiss, the Taiwanese
Hmm.
version, Till the End of the Moon.
I love
But
Till the End of the Moon.
yes, it was
I
so good.
absolutely. Can you see all my little? I have all my little figures here. They're like all the ones
Yes.
from. I I think it's pretty fair to say that Till the End of the Moon will definitely make it onto my best of the best for this year. I think
Yes.
it had a brilliant moment all the way back. I can't believe it, but I think it was airing like back in April. We were watching Till the End of the Moon, which is crazy to me. I feel like it was just yesterday that I was watching it. But yeah.
Yes, yes, like, I was obsessed.
Hmm.
I think I watched a bunch, like, because, they release the episodes in the beginning, like, in big chunks, right? So I was just like, "Oh," watching, like, 10
Mm.
episodes. I'm like, "Oh my god, what's gonna happen next?" And then it got, like, slower, and so then I had to buy the subscription, like, officially, because I was like, "I can't wait." Like
I'm so this is a very new thing to Chinese dramas that I'm not sure I like. Basically,
mm,
they had always said that so basically in the first week of release, whether it be 4 days that they release episodes or whatever, they would release anything between 6 to 12 episodes in the first week, like six episodes on the first day, and then like 2 episodes for another 3 days. But now
mhm.
what they do is they do like for 2 weeks you get episodes every single day, and like on first
Yeah.
day of release they'll do 4 or 6 episodes, and then they give you like 2 episodes every day for like 2 weeks, but then they stop it and then they go
Yeah.
back to what is supposed to be the airing schedule, which is like 3 days or 4 days of episodes and then like a little break, and then 4 days of episodes and then a little break. So I'm like, I don't know which way I prefer, because I feel like I get spoiled for having 2 weeks of episodes every day, and then all of a sudden I'm like waiting, and I'm like, oh, I just want to watch it. So yeah,
Right,
that's a
yeah.
very new thing. I think like this year. They didn't used to do that last year. They used to release it. I think what really started this trend was Love Between Fairy and Devil from last year, because
Oh, yeah.
they released episodes every day for like 2 weeks straight, and then they went to the airing schedule. So, and ever since then, it seems like more and more dramas go down that route. Yeah, I still haven't figured out if that's something I like or not, but yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it's better if the show has stopped airing so that I
Mm,
can just binge.
yeah.
Because like once I'm super into it, I just feel like anxious. Like
Yeah.
what's gonna happen next? I don't want to get spoiled, especially now that TikTok exists. Oh my God. Like
It's the worst place for spoilers.
that's the reason why I even got the I don't even Yoku, I think it was
Yeah, yeah,
Yoku.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Till
That's
the end of the moon was Yoku, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I had to get the Yoku subscription because I was just like,
I
I
need
am
to
getting
watch it.
spoiled. Getting
Yeah.
spoiled because TikTok knew that I liked it, and they were just like, "Well, here's
Mm.
this other country that's ahead of you that's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
watching it," and I'm just like, "What's going on?" So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
so
see, I'm quite lucky because I adore spoilers in general. So I'm like, give me
okay,
all the spoilers. Like, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. But I do try to be like a little bit conscious that that's not the case for everybody. So, like, I try to, like, I know who I can talk complete spoilers with, and they're like they're cool with it.
mm,
But I think you also have to sort of respect other people. And the thing is, there's some things like at least wait 24 hours. Like there's some people
yeah,
that like within the hour they've got
yeah,
spoilers everywhere without no tags or anything, and I'm like, that
yeah,
is insane. Like people live on different time zones. Some people haven't even woken up and you're already spoiling the whole drama. So yeah, that's a little wild to me.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
I get
Like
that. I get that.
I feel like I'm cool with if I don't care about the drama, I'm cool with spoilers.
Yeah, yeah,
But if
yeah.
am invested, then it's like don't talk to
Don't, yeah,
me.
don't.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked that. I liked the moon embraces the sun.
Mm,
I tend to have this thing. I mean I like dramas, but I tend to like the more fantasy type
yeah,
or historical type. That's like where
yeah,
my leanings
yeah,
are.
yeah.
But
Go
I think
towards.
yeah, but I think I sort of blame that on me liking Jewel in the Palace, like
Mm,
for like it being one of the first like
dramas.
legitimate dramas
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
got
yeah,
into where I'm just like, "Oh, I like historical stuff."
yeah, yeah.
I need when I'm watching K-dramas, like I need to watch another Joseon drama. Like
There's not been like a lot that are focused on like Joseon this year, I don't think. It's been the year in Korean dramas, I feel like it's been the year of reincarnated lives or second lives.
yes.
And I'm like, I'm over it. Leave it in
Yes.
2023. Let's move on to 2024 without that trope, please and thank you. For me,
Yes.
surprisingly enough, I'm not usually a historical person. I tend to love fantasy in general.
Mm,
But when it comes to like historical, that doesn't always land for me. It's not a genre that I go after a lot. But this year, like especially from Chinese drama land, I have been watching historical after historical and like I have been living for it, especially in like the last 3 months of this year. They have been coming out with really good historical dramas. So that's where I've been in as well for the last sort of like 3 months.
yeah.
So I get that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what about some of your favorite actors or actresses?
So I feel like this is new for me, but definitely Bailu.
Oh, I love
I
Bailu.
love her.
I love Bailu. Like I could talk about Bailu for days on end. She's definitely up there as like one of my favorites. And she's had
Yeah.
I also think it's because she's had a brilliant year. I mean,
Yeah.
one and only was a little bit disappointing. No,
Mm,
not only one and only, only for love. Only for love was a little bit disappointing, but that was airing amongst the story of Cooning Palace and with Till the End of the Moon. Like, she's a good actress, so it's like
yes.
it's fine. We know it's not necessarily her fault for that one. It is definitely a, you know, drama problem, not hers.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah. So I love her.
yeah.
I love Yang Mi, although I
Mm,
can't say that I love all of Yang Mi's choices.
no.
Um when it comes to the dramas that she decides to do. Mark Chow, of
Mm,
course, but that's because I'm just obsessed
yeah,
with Eternal
yeah.
Love.
I with Young Me, I didn't get what everybody kept saying about her until I watched Eternal Love. When I watched
Yeah.
Eternal Love, I was like, "Oh, I get it now. Like I get it. I get
Yes.
it." So that I she's got Fox Spirit Matchmaker coming up and I'm really excited about that one because she's
Yeah.
playing another Fox, kind of deity and I think that role really really suits her. So I feel like that's going to
Yeah.
be a really, really good one because I feel like that's the one she's playing with Gong Jun, if I'm not mistaken. So that I like him as well. So I think it'll be a good one to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'm really excited for that as well. Cause
Mm,
like the other stuff that she has done and I watched it, I was just like, this is not hitting me
no,
the way Eternal Love has hit me. What's
no,
going on?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I'm excited for that as well. And I think another actress, of course, that I like is Xiao Lucy, which is
yeah,
why like I was like, okay, like this one because I already
yeah, yeah,
let's do dating in the kitchen
yeah.
because I already like her. So yeah.
That is actually a really good segue into the episode because the drama that we're going to be talking about, if you haven't guessed it by the, poster and the name, is Dating in the Kitchen, which is a Chinese drama which does star Zhao Lushi, who is also like just been getting better and better and better every
Mm.
single year. It's insane. Like I did an episode on her and she has consistently had 3 dramas out every single year. And since she's debuted, the only one that she hasn't is this year. She's had 2 dramas out this year. Actually, that's about to change because
Oh.
The Last Immortal is about to debut like now, Monday, the 11th of December. So
Mm.
actually, she will have had 3 dramas out in 2023 as well. So that is insane. Like for an actress
Yeah.
to constantly keep up that amount of work every single year, it's a lot. So she's been doing all of it. She's definitely booked and busy,
Yes.
deservedly so.
And
Uh,
paid.
Hopefully, yes.
Yes.
Hopefully,
Yes.
yes. Very well paid. I think they do actually get paid really well in in China. But funnily enough, I believe that what you get most money out of isn't necessarily doing dramas or even doing movies. It's like the brand endorsements. That's where the money
Mm,
is. And that's why we see, our mega stars endorsing everything and anything under the sun. Because from what I know, that's where the real money comes from, is like those
mm,
brand endorsements. They get a lot of money for those. So yeah, and those, like, they don't have to do a lot, I suppose, compared to, like, I mean, in terms of compared to, a 6 month shoot for a drama. If you're doing a brand endorsement, you probably can get it done, in a couple of days. You get all the
yeah.
materials together. So it's not bad for, a week's worth of work, I suppose. Um, so, yeah, let's actually get into what this drama is about if you haven't watched it. So, this is from MDL and it reads. Working at Zijing Hotel, Gu Shangnan was an underestimated commis inside the kitchen, but she was free to express herself through her food, as she sharpened her skills as a chef. To make matters worse, an unfortunate misunderstanding lands her on the wrong side of her soon-to-be boss, the sharp-tongued CEO Lu Jin. As a business prodigy, Lu Jin isn't afraid to make tough decisions. Ready to condemn the Xinjiang hotel, Lu Jin changes his mind after a happy accident brings one of Shangnan's dishes his way. A hardcore foodie, Lu Jin is impressed with Shangnan's skill as a chef and readily recognizes her talent. Sharing a love of food, this unlikely pair begin to form an unexpected bond that leads them to a place neither of them ever expected to be. So that's kind of like, the rough outline. I think it's a lot of faff to say all of that. Basically, she is a chef, he is a CEO. He's a big foodie. He kind of tries her food and absolutely falls in love with her just by her food alone. And I feel like
Mm.
that's the whole drama in a nutshell.
Really?
In a nutshell, that is the whole drama. It is very, very rom-com. There is nothing else about it. It is a rom-com through and through for sure.
Mhm.
So this was broadcast on July 15th, 2020. It is a Tencent production. And the director for this is a director called Chen Chang. And they've directed stuff like Nothing But You, which I've watched and I really enjoyed. It is one starting Wu Lei. It's kind of like a Nuna romance that aired earlier this year. And then they've also done When You Be Me, which I really wanted to watch. But when this particular drama came out, it was a Mango TV drama, and the subs was so bad that I was like, I can't do
Mm,
it. It is
yeah.
now since been subbed over on Viki. I just haven't had the time to sort of go back, but I have heard good things about it. And then they've also done the drama Lie to Love. Now, this screenwriter is called Zhao Xiao Lei, and they've done things like The Forbidden Flower, which I absolutely loved. The Forbidden Flower. I think it is from this year. It is kind of like a drama where the male lead is significantly older than the female lead. It is an age gap romance.
Mm,
It is a little bit of a sad story, but the directing on that was chef's kiss. It was so beautifully, the way they played with like color and lighting and everything. I really did enjoy The Forbidden Flower. And also, this is the screenwriter for Go Go Squid 2, which for me personally, I feel like it's the better of the two. I'm a Go Go
mm,
Squid 2 fan over Go Go Squid 1. Just because I liked I like Young Zi from Go Go Squid 1, but the actress herself, but I liked the arc and the story of the female lead in Go Go Squid 2 more.
mm.
So yeah, we have obviously Zhao Lushi is our female lead. She plays Gu Shangnan, and she's been, I mean, you have to live under a rock to not know who she is,
Yeah, yeah.
especially after this year. But she's been in things like obviously Hidden Love, who everybody and anybody knows at this point. And, she's also been in things like Love Like the Galaxy and The Romance of Tiger and Rose, just to name a few, because she has an extensive drama list at this point. And then
Yes.
we have the male lead, who is Lin Yu Shen, and he plays Lu Jin, and he's been in things such as I'm Lucky, Undercover, and Live Your Life. Now, this is my first time ever watching this male lead. I don't know. I don't. It's not that I didn't like him. I just don't think I was like completely captivated by him.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know. I don't know. What did you think of the male lead in this?
Um, I feel like maybe it's just the way that the story was written, and so he was acting it out in a certain way. But there were times where it's like I didn't really like him
Yeah.
as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like there are certain parts he was able to convey pretty well, but other times I was just like, this isn't coming across the way they think it's coming
Yeah,
across.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. There was something about him that just didn't quite work for me personally. It just didn't quite click. I don't know. Now, I haven't watched this male lead in anything else, so I don't know if like you said, it's something with the character and the directing, or if it's something with the actor himself. And since this is the first time I've sort of watched him, I don't really know which way, to go. Now, Zhao for me, this is like peak,
Yeah.
normal of what she does. It's her bread and butter in modern day dramas.
Mm.
She is changing it up, which I really adore the fact that she is changing it up. She tends to play, these more comedy forward kind of female leads. And she has done a lot of like, rom-com types. Now, I feel like Love Like the Galaxy is just a whole different character for her. And to me
Yeah.
personally, that is still to this day her best role to me was Love Like the Galaxy, just because I feel
Yeah.
like it's a much harder role to portray. But
I
yeah,
loved it too.
Love Like the Galaxy is insanely good. It's probably one of my favorite historicals that I've watched today, I would say. Um, so let's just go through and do some general thoughts about this drama. I overall enjoyed it. I didn't think it was anything like super special or anything like that. I think the
Mm.
chemistry lacked a little bit for me, and that's mainly like on the male lead, not necessarily the female lead.
Yeah.
And I felt like the story, the pacing was a little bit wonky at times. It felt like the first 6 episodes, everything went very quickly. And then for like a couple of episodes, not a lot happened. And then towards the end, a lot of things happened very quickly as well. So I
Yeah.
think like the pacing wasn't necessarily my favorite, but I did really enjoy like Salushi's character. I liked the fact that she kind of like worked her way up, and also, all the food in this drama just looks so good. Like, I was hungry all the time. This is why I don't watch a lot of like dramas focused on food because I'm a
Yeah.
huge. I'm a huge foodie in general, and like looking at it, I just want to eat it. And then it's
Yeah.
things that I can't have access to. So then I'm like, I can't eat it because I can't, get them. So I think the food did look really, really nice. There were some scenes that were shot really beautifully, which I'm sure we will go, I'll go into more detail in the spoiler section. But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay, but it's not like, a drama that I say, oh my God, it's amazing and I'm completely
Yeah.
enthralled. What are some of your thoughts on it?
Yeah, like I really enjoyed Dating in the Kitchen. I think I really liked it once we got further into the
Mm,
drama. Um, but yeah, so it's like I enjoyed it, but it's not like I feel like I would recommend it to people that really like Zhao
mm,
Lucy. Like
mm-hmm,
if you just love how she acts and stuff and you just want to see her in something else, and you've already watched like Love Like the Galaxy or and everything, you can watch this.
mm,
Um So, like, if you're a fan of her, I would recommend it. Otherwise, it's just like, there are some parts that left much to be desired.
Mm-hmm.
But I did enjoy the rom-com aspects within the story. Um, I really loved, Loo Jin's, like, assistant,
Yeah,
friend.
he was quite funny. He was
He
quite
was
funny.
very funny. Yeah, yeah. Um But yeah, I guess that was like my overall thoughts. But then also like when it comes to the pacing, like you were talking about, I think once it started to get slower in the middle, there were certain parts in the middle where I was just like,
What is
okay,
happening?
what is going on?
Yeah, what
Like,
is
yeah,
happening? Like nothing is happening right now.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I did overall enjoy it. And I think like for me, I would recommend it to people who just want like a mindless kind of very
Mm,
fluffy watch, something you can have on in the background and you'd still like, understand all the story. Because it is your very typical rom-com kind of drama. So that's where I would recommend it, I think. So yeah, like let's do our ratings for it and then we can talk about more, spoilers. We'll move into the spoiler section. So we're doing our ratings 1 through 5, 1 teacup, and I'm just going to go through the explanations for it. 1 teacup is I didn't really enjoy it, but something somehow still kept me watching, and that's a 1 to a 5.5 on MDL. And then 2 teacups, it was okay, not really the best, but an okay pastime, and that's your 6 to 7 MDL on MDL. 3 teacups is it's good. I enjoyed this drama and would recommend to people who, enjoy the genre itself. So that's like a 7.5 to an 8. And 4 teacups is I really enjoyed it overall, loved it, would recommend to a wider audience. There may be a couple of problems, but overall, still very much an enjoyable watch. And that's like your 8.5 to a 9.5 on MDL. And then like your 5 teacups, that's like your holy grail of dramas. It's like I can
mm,
ignore every single problem with it because I loved it that much. And that's like your 10 on MDLs. Now, for me, I would say I would sit this at a 3, basically because I
mm.
enjoyed it and it was okay, but I would still recommend this to people who enjoy like rom-coms and who
Yeah.
enjoy like fluffy, easy, mindless kind of watches. So that's like why I would put it at a 3 because I would still recommend it to, certain people that enjoy the genre. What would you rate it as, do you think?
Right. I think probably either 2.5, 3.
Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
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 Yeah. So
You
it's
hit
like,
it there.
cause yeah, cause like I would recommend it to people who like Zhao Luji in particular and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it for me, it kind of fits more the description of two
Yeah.
teacups.
Yeah, rather than the 3. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, so that's our ratings. And if you guys haven't watched it, but would like to watch it and don't appreciate spoilers, go and do that now and come back because we're about to go into spoiler territory. And yeah, so that is your heads up. So from now on, spoilers are on the table. So what I've got down here for the first sort of question is, what did you think of the storyline? Now, for me, I thought it was kind of like a good storyline because it's kind of innovative that he kind of falls in love with her even before he meets her. He just falls in love with kind of like her cooking. He's seen her before.
Yeah.
They've had a couple of interactions, but he doesn't really know who she is. And at that point where he sort of meets our female lead, he doesn't know that she's the chef that's cooked the food that he really enjoys. So I really appreciate that right from the get-go, he's very much aware of her capability in the kitchen and he really appreciates that about her. He thinks, he really does love that about her. And also just the fact that they sort of get to know each other because she's paying her debt to him by cooking for him every day. Like I
Mm,
thought that was, very cute, very, romancy forward. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
all of that sort of setup. The way they bicker with each other and kind of like you slowly see the bickering turning into like a little bit of flirting and then obviously into them getting together. I thought that was something that I really enjoyed as well. So that's kind of like the things that I really enjoyed about the storyline setup. What about you? What was some things that you enjoyed, about the storyline itself?
Yeah, like um I think I agree with you like along like with the storyline starting off with him falling for her
Hmm.
cooking and then moving into who she is. I think once he was able to connect that, oh, like Shangnan was the person that was making the food
Yeah,
that he
yeah,
really
yeah.
liked, and that's when it clicked for him,
Hmm.
because so far he just saw her as kind of bad luck. At least in the
Yeah.
beginning, I was just like, these weird things kept happening to him, and she was at
The
the
root,
center of it.
yeah, the root of every problem that he has.
Right. So it's just like, okay, once he realized that that was her food, it was just like, okay, the image that I have of her in my head
Yeah,
is
shifts. Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because like no one who can cook like that could actually be bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I really started to enjoy the storyline once he was able to connect that she was the one that was cooking for him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and stuff. I would say that like the other instances, I think part of the bad luck arc of Shangnan and Lujin did start to get a little irritating because I was just like, okay, okay, they're together, like we get it. There doesn't need to be any more like incidents
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
let's move along, people. Let's move along. Just let them have their cute moments.
Yes, yes,
Don't
yes.
interrupt their cuteness right now.
Right, right. So it's like once it got past that point, I feel like that's when I really started to
Enjoy.
enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think like there's a lot in this drama that is so rom-com classic trope that is, crazy. I mean, you have the classic where I think it's in one of the episodes, she's cooking for him and he's kind of had like a really long day and he falls asleep on his sofa and she trips and like kisses him,
Kisses it.
and it's like
Yeah.
it's as rom-com as it gets. Like that's such a rom-com trope that it's a little bit, crazy. So I think they did the rom-com stuff really well a lot of the time. There's I don't know. There's a lot of scenes. Also, I will say, I feel like this is an okay binge watch, but because
Yeah.
I binged it almost like in 2 days, over the course of 2 days, and I think I would have liked it a little bit more if I had like not binged it, if I'd watched like a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Especially because I think right now I'm watching a lot more of like serious dramas, and that's what like my mood is calling for. So I
Mm.
think it's probably suffered a little bit from the fact that I'm not in that, complete rom-com fluffy type of mood right now. But overall, I still think the way they met was pretty good. There is a little bit of like a power imbalance, I would say, because
Yeah.
she's, works for him in all essence. Um, but I do appreciate that actually that was never used against her, quite the contrary, because he's so in love with her cooking that he just wants to eat like whatever she cooks. So it's like he's almost falling at her feet for this food, which being a foodie, like I can get behind that because,
Yeah.
her food did look super delicious. Like whatever she cooked did look super delicious. And I really loved that one of the aspects of the story that I really enjoyed was that she showed her love through her food. That's the way
Yeah.
like her grandpa did it as well, and it's like what
Mhm.
she brought to the table, and I really appreciate that. I think like my culture at least, food is like a huge part of my culture, and like family time is a lot often surrounded by food. So I really appreciated that that was shown kind of like in this drama, how she puts, that through food. And even like there's a scene where they're trying to put her down because she hasn't been to like one of those, super fancy cooking schools, and she's like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just know that it goes well together. Like it tastes good to me. And that's the important thing. And I was like, yes, because I don't think you need to be, a super fancy chef Ivy Leaguer from, a top university or whatever
Mhm.
cooking school to be able to be a really good cook, which she was. So yeah, that was some of the things that I really appreciated. So, who was like out of everybody, who was your favorite character, do you think?
Um, I mean, definitely Shangnan
Mm-hmm.
was my
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
favorite, but I
Yeah.
think that Grandpa Goo, like
Oh, I
her
loved
grandpa,
him.
yeah, is like a close second. I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, these
Yeah.
two, like, I
They're
love this
like,
little family. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
they're thicker than thieves. And I really appreciated that. Like, especially towards the end, like he was saying, because they had that situation towards the end where Lu Jin's mother was just being horrendous, absolutely
oh
horrendous.
gosh,
I was like,
terrible.
what is this? Just stop it. And her grandpa was saying along the lines of, I'm not really sure, if you should be together or anything like that. And for a moment there, but then he kind of saw how Lujin treated his granddaughter, and that
Yeah,
ultimately Lujin makes her happy. And there's a specific line that the grandpa kind of says to Lujin, which is, that's all I can ask for. Because Lujin says, I will try my hardest to make sure that she's happy every day of her life. And like the grandpa is just like, that's all I can ask for. Like I
yeah,
will accept that. That's all I can ask for. I just want her to be happy. And I'm like, this is adorable. Like we love supporting family members. And it was such a
yeah,
big contrast to his mother, because his mother was just
terrible.
insane, insane, insane.
Yeah.
I would also say that I really loved, our female lead, Shangnan. I just feel like she's so upbeat about life, and
Hmm.
I love her passion for cooking and for feeding people, and for, like I said, for showing her love through her food, and how, that's how she shows her emotions, and she's really good at it. She's,
Yeah.
very upbeat. She's very fun, but she doesn't shy away from having her moments as well. There's a couple of moments where she's pretty upset, and she doesn't shy away from that. So I really really enjoyed her character overall. Grandpa, I also loved Grandpa. I think he was great. I also really liked the uncle. I thought
Oh,
he
Kwanon, I think.
I think he was called. He was just fun in general,
Yes.
and actually, he gave really good advice when
Yes.
our male lead was having like a little bit of a struggle with her, and he didn't know how to deal with it. He went to the uncle, and the uncle was like, "Look, dude, this is what's happening," and he gave really, really good advice. So I really enjoyed his character as well. I thought he was a lot of fun. Um, so yeah, I think they would probably be my favorites. Now, on the other side of the coin, who were your least favorite characters, do you think?
Liman. So
Oh, the mother.
no, no, the his assistant,
Oh, was that his assistant, or was that the
Liman was either the assistant or COO of the company,
Oh
something.
yeah. The vice. She's kind of like she works alongside with him. Basically, the
Yeah.
one, yes, what we would say is like kind of almost a second female lead who she
Yeah.
thinks she has a claim on him, and she thinks she's gonna marry him. Yes, I did not like her character
At
one
all.
bit, one bit. And yes, there is that situation where he's away and her grandpa gets really sick, and she calls him, and she
Yes.
deletes that call. Now, I will say, she did then admit to her mistake, but at that point, I'm like, this is a little bit, too little, too late. I'm kind of over your character at this point.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like her character at all. I didn't like her arc of the story at all. I will say that's one thing. That's like one of my niggly things with this drama is that there was quite a few characters that were not good characters at all, and they don't really get dealt with. I mean, the
Yes.
chef that kind of comes after her and like almost
Yeah.
assaults her, and then like he's never seen or heard from again. And I'm like, was this dealt with? Like, because he just kind
Is
of
he in
runs off.
jail?
No,
Yeah.
I don't like. We don't know. At least I can't
Yeah.
remember what happens to him. Like that wasn't shown because like our male lead, he comes in. Lu Jin, he comes in and he saves her, takes the hit from the bottle, punches
Yeah.
the other guy, and the other guy runs off, and you're like, wait, what happened to him? Like,
Yeah.
does he get punished? What's happening to him? I don't understand. So that was like that's his character, but also like even his mother's character, I didn't like her at all. I
At
did not
all.
like it. And then, like, by the end of it, what I didn't like even more was the fact that she did all of these things. And then by the end, she's just like, oh, okay, I accept her now. Bring her over for dinner. And they're like, yeah, my mom wants you to come over for dinner. And everything is like hunky dory fine all of a sudden. And I'm like, no, I need some, you know, redemption arc or something,
Yeah.
and there was definitely none of that. So that was like a niggly thing that I had with like bad characters in this drama, is that they were certainly there as like plot devices and then they were not dealt with at all anymore. So yeah, what other characters did you not like in this?
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I would say that you know, well, I said I didn't like Liman, but I also didn't like Lujin's mother. I
Mm,
thought that she was
horrendous.
terrible, especially when she went to the grandfather's like
That
hospital
was
room.
so bad. That was horrible.
I'm like, this man is ill. Like,
Mm.
nobody cares about Lugin. Like, it is not that deep. Like,
No.
like it's not to that level and stuff, which is why like I understood the grandfather wanting Shangnan to go with her childhood
Yeah,
friend
yeah, yeah.
versus with going with Lujin because he wanted her to have he
An
wanted her to be
easy life.
happy
Yeah.
and yeah, and an easy life. And like his family, her childhood friends' family, they already love her and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah.
versus this woman's just coming into his room after he had major
Like,
surgery.
the thing
Like,
is, realistically speaking, if we were to be like very realistic about the story, I think she would have been better off with the childhood friend as opposed to
yeah,
our, male lead, just because I feel
yeah,
like they were a slightly better fit together. But that's not where the story went because, sometimes you can't tell just because somebody's, on paper better for you. It's all down to, what your feelings are, and that's not who she fell in love with. So, and I was like, that's fine. Like, I understood the grandpa's concerns, they were very valid, but even
yeah,
like with his concerns, he never said to her, you can't date him, or he never went and
yeah,
did something bad to like, to Lu Jin, or so that she wouldn't want to be with him. And I was like, this is insane. This mother is
yeah.
insane. Like the other one.
She went out of her way to embarrass Shangnan so many times.
Yes, like
And
but
it's
the restaurant scene specifically where
oh
she
god,
makes
yeah.
like Shangnan cook. Isn't that your job? And she's just kind of like, it's your job to do it. I will say, I really enjoyed how our male lead kind of handled that situation, because he was like, if you're making her cook, then I can cook as well. And he was even saying to Lee Man's a good chef. Why isn't she cooking then?
Right,
So I
right.
really did enjoy that he kind of like did not just sort of like sit on his hands and do nothing. He did handle the situation. But that was really sad to just sort of see her ran out of there sort of like in tears because their mother was being
Yeah.
like such a horrible person. So,
Right. And then on top of it, you end up learning that the mother didn't come from anything either. And
no.
so it's just like, why are you so vehemently against her if this is what's making your son like happy, you know? And
Yeah.
I feel like there was just this underlying trauma from her marriage not working out that she was forcing on Lu Jin, and Lu Jin was trying to reconcile that while
Yeah.
also trying to still be in a relationship with Nan. But yeah, so I really didn't like her. I would say that there were times when I didn't like Zhao Di either. Zhao Di is Nan's like best friend, the girl.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I
There were
do know.
times when I didn't. Yeah,
She was
there
a
were
bit
times when I didn't.
irritating.
Yeah,
I think she
yeah,
was a little bit irritating in this drama. And I think that's probably why I don't mind. I love rom-coms and I love, fluffy dramas, but I have to sort of like all the other characters involved.
yeah.
Of course, there's always going to be a character that you don't enjoy or that is meant to be, the baddie of the story. That's just how it is. But
Mhm.
overall, I appreciate that I want to like all the characters. And in this drama specifically, there wasn't like any characters that I really, really loved apart from our female lead and the grandpa. There was like I like them okay, but they weren't like characters that I was like rooting for. And I think that for me personally kind of like puts the drama down a little bit as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's like I liked Nan. I liked her grandpa.
Mm.
I liked Mingji. I think that was Lu Jin's assistant.
Yeah, yeah, his assistant. Yeah, he was quite
His
funny.
is
I think he was quite
yes,
funny.
yes. And then her uncle.
Yeah, the uncle was really funny. I quite liked the uncle. I thought he was
Yeah.
quite funny.
Yeah,
Um,
but that was kind of it. And so
mm,
there were just times where I was like,
I don't really like any of these characters. I don't really care for their storyline here. I think that's a lot of the
yeah,
time that's what was happening for me.
yeah. Because
Um,
like I felt bad, especially for Mangji when he was trying to propose to Zhao Di, and
that
she
was so
was
sad, and she just turned him down. Like
like,
I
yeah,
get it. So basically, what I read into that situation was because he kind of proposed with a bouquet of like beef or something, which was really bizarre. But what he meant it as was not what she assumed. Like
took
she
it.
kind, yeah,
Yeah,
she took it as like a reminder of her very, very humble and very, very bad beginnings in life. Whereas that's not what he was intending. I think he was intending to, we can build a better life together and I can,
yeah.
help make sure that you're provided for and all of this. That's what he intended as, but that's not how she took it. And that
Mhm.
whole scene, it could have just been like they dragged that whole situation out for way, way longer than it needed to be. Like she could
Yeah,
have said no, and then they could have like sat down and had a conversation about it. And he would have just been like, no, 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 that's not where I'm coming from. And like they could have
yeah,
very quickly resolved that situation. Now, I will say, I am not a fan of like big public displays of proposals because dude, that you're signing up for trouble unless you absolutely know for 110% sure that she's gonna say
yeah.
yes. Don't
I
do it in
wouldn't
a
do it.
public place. Like do it somewhere nice and quiet where it can be just a moment for the two of you. Like so I appreciate actually that now a lot of the times in dramas, the proposals are becoming like slightly smaller in terms of it's just the two main characters.
Yeah.
But even like, say, for a drama, another Zalushi drama, but Hidden Love. Have you watched Hidden Love?
I don't think I have.
Right. But either way, like Hidden Love, there was a proposal scene in that one, and it was kind of like done at the beach, but it was so well done. There was just the closest friends and the closer family there, and it was
Mm,
really, really really nice, like that sort of thing. So yeah, I think that could have been handled a little bit well. And actually, for our main couple, we didn't even get a well, actually, that's a whole other thing. Like he just at
At the at this
the
party
conference,
that was
like the conference or whatever it is, he just
yeah,
announces, this is my fiance, and she kind of looks at him, hang on, your fiance, what? You
right.
never proposed to me. And I was like, when did am I missing? I actually thought I had missed an episode, or like I had missed a scene or something, because I was like, wait, what happened? How did this happen? How did we go from girlfriend to now being a fiance? Um, so yeah, I was not sure about that. So another thing I have down here for the review is how did you think the romance was built? Like for me personally, I thought it was okay, because I think they sort of became friends over the course of, just her cooking for him.
Yeah.
I kind of liked that aspect of their relation build up. And also, I feel like I quite liked that their relation built up was done very like just between the two of them, because he was coming to her house to, for her to feed him, that sort of thing. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. I think that later on, I didn't enjoy it as much, because we have that whole thing where his stepbrother comes in, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Uh
don't need all of this. This is insane. Like, I don't need this story. And then all of a sudden, it's the end, and I'm like, what have I missed something? So yeah, I feel like they give you a lot of sweetness in the first like 10 episodes, and then like
yeah.
the pacing goes a little bit off the rails after that. So yeah, what did you think?
I enjoyed the romance, particularly after Lujin finally tells Shingnan that he likes her.
Takes
Um,
forever for them to get there.
oh my God, so long.
Mhm.
And I think part of it is um because Lujin is older, I didn't like how long it took him to
Mm.
label the
Yeah,
relationship
yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
Shangon in particular,
Yeah.
because it's like when he's talking to his mom, it's like, oh yeah, that's my girlfriend. I'm still trying to woo her, versus directly telling Shannon, like, I like
I
you.
like you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think from that aspect, he has always very much been, I think they were just trying to make it that he was very much this work machine, and that he,
Mhm.
didn't know how to do relationships. And it's pretty obvious, because it takes him forever to
Yeah,
admit. And I'm like, dude, at this point, it's so obvious that the two of you like each other, and that the two of you are almost in a relationship. Like, she's cooking for you every day. And it's way,
yeah,
way, way, way clear that she's more than paid her debt by this point.
yeah,
So yeah, they go shopping for food together. They go and do all of these things. I'm like, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious to
yeah.
everybody but you right now. So,
Right, right. So I didn't like how long it took him to give the relationship
a label,
a
basically.
label.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, because if he'd done it, then they could have just been sweeter with each other even
Yeah.
like sooner. And
Mm.
I feel like when you see Shangnan's character, she once she becomes certain about it, like certain about something, it just clicks for
Yeah,
her.
and she knows. I really like that about her character. It takes a little bit
Yeah.
to sort of figure things out, but when she does, she's like, "This is what I want," and that's it. Like, I know what I feel, and once she knows what she feels, I really,
Mhm.
really like that. And actually, it's a direct comparison, because he's the CEO. He's meant to be like a really decisive person. But in
Yeah.
this aspect, she's very much, it's the contrary. She's very much the decisive one,
Yeah.
and he's kind of not. So, yeah, that was quite interesting, I think, to sort of watch and see. I think for me personally, I wish instead of the 24 episodes, this could have done with like just being 18 episodes or 20 episodes, because I feel
Yeah.
like the pacing would slightly be better on it if it was slightly less than the 24, because I feel like they try to cram a lot in the last like 4 episodes. All of a sudden the brother is now like chasing after her, and they're
Yeah.
breaking up and then they're getting back together, and like they get back together like episode 24, middle of episode 24, when there's like, half an episode to go. And I'm like, what is happening?
Yes, yes. Yeah. I think like with the pacing, the way that they had it, there were too many big bads, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
first you think, oh, it's gonna be Liman, then oh, it's actually the
The
mom.
mother. And then
Then
it's the brother.
no, and then it's the brother. And then I'm just like,
Just pick
stop.
one. Just pick one and stick with
Pick
it.
one.
Like, pick
Pick
one,
one.
stick with
That's
it,
it.
and we're good. Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Yeah,
do think,
yeah.
yeah. So we've already sort of touched on the food and how delicious it looked. So we'll just go on to, what did you think about the age gap? Was that something that bothered you, or was that done okay? To me, I don't think it bothered me too much. It wasn't like anything, because he never used his power or status or anything to sort of,
Yeah.
get anything from her at all. She did owe him the money fair and square. She did ruin
She
his
did.
car. She
Yeah.
did like do a lot of things, even if it's just through her clumsiness. At the end of the day, she did do those things. So it's fair that he wants payment for that sort of stuff. So I don't
Yeah.
think there was like any sort of power imbalancement. And I mean, the only thing he said was, just pay me back in food. Like, I like your food, pay me back in food. And actually, I don't think that's, necessarily a bad thing. So it didn't
Yeah.
bother
Yeah.
me.
I mean, the age gap for me, the only time that I didn't really like it is when he didn't give Shangnan the structure that she was essentially like looking for.
Mm.
So like trying to get that relationship label, but then also like when dealing with Liman and dealing with his mom. So with Liman, this is kind of like he didn't stipulate to Liman that this is my girlfriend. Like it
Yeah,
took
yeah,
him a
yeah, yeah.
while to even do that. And so then Limon was able to get away with doing so many like rude
Things. Yeah,
things
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to Shangnan because he didn't stipulate that. And I feel that if he had, as the older person in the relationship, if he had firmer boundaries
Yeah,
with the other women in his life, then Shangnan wouldn't have had such a hard
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
But in terms of their actual relationship, it didn't really bother me like too much because like you said, he didn't use the power imbalance
Yeah,
that was within their relationship against her. If anything, he only would say he rarely used it, not against her, but like against the chef that was upset by their relationship. I'm just like, oh, they picked Shangnan because she is with the CEO and I'm going to ruin her like her chances by
yeah, yeah,
messing
yeah.
up the black truffles and stuff.
Oh,
And then that
that was
yeah.
insane. That whole thing. It's kind of it, but it kind of like reflects on how women in the kitchen, especially like a professional kitchen, are just
Yeah.
like not as welcomed as a man. And for her situation, she never got to that point because, he put her there or anything at all. Yes, she did have these connections. And he said so many times, he said, I will help you. Like, I will help you. And she's like, no, I don't
No,
want your
yeah.
help. I want to get to where I want to be, but with my, my qualifications and my,
Mhm.
my own ability. And it's just the fact that she was bloody good at what she did. She's good
Yes.
at cooking and she's good at like showing people her love through her food. So that jealousy and that pettiness, that was, not another thing that was needed in the grand scheme of things, but it is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say just like the age gap for me didn't really bother me. I would
Mm.
say um I guess the one time that I had an issue with it was just when the brother got involved. So when Lujin's brother gets involved, and then you kind of see like one Lujin goes through Shangnan's phone,
Mm.
and then that's when he finds out that his brother had been like manipulating Shangnan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And rather than just explaining to her, like, my brother is manipulating you, this is what he's been saying to me, like, and I realized that this is what he said to you, and giving her that sort of peace of mind,
Background. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then at that point it felt as if I'm older, I'm gonna handle it myself. But it's like
Yeah.
she's fully involved, and so
Hmm.
from her point of view it just looked as if he was abandoning her. And it was just like, okay, like, for instance, when they were at his place and the brother was in the car and he was
Yes.
watching them, and then
Yes.
she's just like, no, I want to fix our relationship
Yeah, and he's just like,
now.
no, not right now. And yeah, I
Right.
agree with you. I think there was a lot of lack of communication there. And
Hmm.
it's the fact that he just kept saying to her, you can't be seen with him. You can't be with him. And it's like, just explain to her why. Like, just
Yeah.
explain that this is the situation right now, that, you know, you are in a whole battle itself because of the thing. But I will say, I do also think that Shangnan was a little bit naive with that whole
Yes.
interaction, just because that brother was very double faced. I also think
Yes.
that was dealt with way, way too quickly. All of a sudden, he's
Yeah.
like, oh, we're good brothers now. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, they both need therapy, and they need,
Yes.
like, to deal with that situation. But yeah, I think she was a little bit naive not to see through any of it. Um,
Especially after the picture.
I mean, that was like, oh, who else is gonna do that? Who
Yeah.
else? Like, you know, he would have had to be with somebody to be able to do
Mhm.
that. So yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
She was a little bit naive as well. You know, and I think they just had really bad communication at that point. So
Yeah. 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 But that was the only time where I was like, okay, I dislike it. But otherwise,
yeah,
it didn't
no,
bother
it didn't
me.
bother you. Yeah. So for our last little thing, so we can then wrap up the episode, let's just do like some favorite scenes for me. So for me, I think the one of the favorite ones from the whole drama was the
Mm.
one where they go out to this river, kind of like there's a river, and they
Yeah.
have really good conversations by that river, and then she's just like cooking and they're like barbecuing together. That whole scene, that was probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole drama, because not only were they really well communicating with each other, they were having a really, really you know, deep conversation. But
Mm.
also then they very quickly go from having that conversation to him just dropping the camera in the
In the
river.
river.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably like, if I were to pick one scene from the whole drama, that's probably the one I would pick as my like top favorite scene. What about you?
Yeah. I would also choose that scene, but
Mm,
I think that another scene that I really liked was after she becomes head chef and
mm.
then they go to her grandfather's like restaurant.
With all the
And
family and stuff.
with all the
Yes,
family.
yeah.
Yeah, and so then you get to see Shangnan like dancing like with her
Just being
family, and
so
then he's
happy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so happy, and then Lujin is like watching. I
Yeah.
really love that
Mm.
because it's like he gets to see her in her natural like
Yeah.
habitat for
Yeah,
real,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
just see like this is the type of person that she is, and she likes to surround herself with people
yeah.
that
Yeah.
like make her happy. And so although there were times where he would just talk about, I wanted it to just be me and you, which, I mean, there's time for that and
Yeah, there
stuff,
is
but
time for that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think a really good key component of Shangnan is just the people that she keeps around her
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
helps her like have
Navigate
that
through life. Yeah.
to navigate through life and have that optimism
Mm.
and stuff. So I
And I
really love
think
that scene.
that scene is also really important because it shows Lu Jin what a family's supposed to be like. Like, you're supposed to have
Yeah.
lots of laughter, and you're supposed to be celebrating each other's wins and
Hmm.
spurring each other on. And I think that whole scene was I really like that one as well. So
Yeah.
that's really two good scenes. All right, have you got any last little comments or from this show in general?
Um, so at one point when Lujin is mad at Shingnan and they're at her apartment and she's trying to get her she's trying to get his attention because he's trying to like put out of his mind that she was friendly with his brother, I think.
Mm.
Like the TV was playing Arthur. Do
Was
you
it? No, I don't think I saw. No.
like it was like because I recognized it was like PBS, it was like PBS Arthur, but it was the Chinese version. So I heard the theme song in the background. So I'm just like, wait,
What is
what?
this?
Like I got so excited. I was just like,
No,
what?
I missed this. Oh my
Oh yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, so I was super excited for that. And then I think when she goes to her uncle at one point for advice, he has this random like Groot figurine. So Groot from like the
Mm.
Marvel like Avengers stuff,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He had the Groot figure. I was just like, what is
What is this?
but it was cool. But I was just like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
like
little spots. Yeah, little spots. I do love those when you can
yeah.
just kind of like spot something in a drama like that.
Yeah.
Um
Because I was
the
just like, oh, I had that too. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's it. I don't have any more comments. I think, like I said, I overall enjoyed it. It was just kind of like a mindless, fun watch. Is it going to
Mhm.
be one of my favorites? Probably not. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no regrets that I watched it. I still very much overall enjoyed it, especially for Zalushi. I think she did a pretty good job in this one.
Yeah,
So
me too.
yes. So I think that's it for the episode. Just tell people where they can find you if they'd like to go and follow you.
So I'm currently on private on Twitter, but you can still follow me because I could probably tell like, oh, like you're coming from Tea and Soju.
Yeah.
So you can follow me on Twitter/X at Chika Supreme. And Chika is spelled with a K and not two C's, so it's like Chika
Yeah.
Supreme. But yeah, so you can follow me there. Also, my podcast, Shoujo Sunday, that is open to anybody who is interested in anime. And I mean, even if you don't particularly like watch the shows that we're talking about, we make it a point to summarize whether it's a film or like the TV series. We'll summarize like the episodes before we start talking about our opinions or our analysis,
Yeah.
so you could really go in blind if you really
Yeah, and
wanted
just
to.
just listen. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
just like listen and stuff. But yeah, so you could check that out. And we're Shoujo Sunday everywhere, and that's Shoujo with the U. So SHOUJO Sunday, like ice cream sundae.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I will leave those linked in the episode notes. And that is it. That's everything for this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let us know if you've watched this one. And if you have, what did you think of it? I will leave the question on Spotify as that so you can put through your thoughts on there. And apart from that, thank you so much, Chika, for coming on. It's been wonderful to have you on. And I shall see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Want to find an Asian drama community? Then join the Tea and Soju Discord server, where we chat everything from C dramas to K dramas to J dramas. To chat with me, check out any of the socials. Please help the podcast by rating, viewing, and subscribing wherever you listen to help others find this little corner. Lastly, consider joining Patreon to further support the podcast and receive extra content. All of the links are in the episode description. That's it. This has been another episode of the Tea and Soju C Drama podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and I'll see you next week for more C Drama chatter.